So it is 8 minutes after, so I think that we will go.
Let's be honest, none of that was Zoom appropriate to start with even.
Maybe we need a call on Zoom etiquette.
Yeah.
We're glad you were here for it, Tom.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, go.
I'm not bothered by it, believe me, at all.
Yeah. We want you to love us for the best of us and the worst of us, Tom. We just want to share it all.
Sometimes it's all the same.
Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're meeting.
All right, so I'm not really in the habit. I don't really like to mute everybody, just because I like giving people the freedom to ask questions, and if they have something to add, because Lisa and I, this is a call, but it's not a formal call, and so if people, I'm going to start talking about some current events. If people have things that they want to add, feel free to raise your hand, jump in. I'm going to say some things. Lisa's going to say some things. Then we have our lovely guest Kim, who's going to say some things, and it's all going to be good. So anyway. Welcome to Wednesdays with Wendy and Lisa. It's a thing. I'm Wendy Baker. My beautiful best friend Lisa Hernandez is here with me, and we're so happy you could all jump on with us. Stephanie is out for a walk. I see that. That's wonderful. So I'm just going to do some announcements quick. So we have our 3-day challenge coming up in April. It's April 12th through the 15th. We encourage you to add all of your peeps. Even if you don't have somebody, you had somebody join you in January, they don't have the 3-day challenge box, go ahead and stick them in the group anyway. Encourage them to invite some friends. Encourage them to buy the box. Of course, I'm reaching out to people and just saying, hey, this is a great opportunity for you to share with your friends and your family what you're doing without feeling a lot of pressure to sell them something. I'm encouraging folks to buy boxes and have them on hand so that if they have somebody who's interested, they can just go ahead and swap it out for 20 bucks. But just absolutely make sure that you're asking your new friends to invite friends. We like to say, turn over every stone and invite and invite and invite. So that's coming up the 12th to the 15th. The product of the month is Vital Biome, if you haven't heard. So make sure you're adding that to your subscription. You get your chill pill and you get extra perks points. Forfeit, are you laughing at me, Lisa? Because this is word for word, what Lisa said to me about Vital Biome. So anyway, and this month, what I'm really, really excited about, I don't know if you're a part of our forfeit group or if you're just watching from the sidelines, but again, we have had just a crazy month. It's the 4th week. I can't believe it. I cannot believe the messages I'm getting. I can't believe every time I log into the group and just check in on folks, I'm so inspired by what people are doing. They're so motivated. They're committed. Mm-hmm. And it's just been awesome to watch the results that we're having. I can't wait for the end of the month when people start really sharing, because just by virtue of what I'm seeing, it's amazing. So we're going to do it again on the 26th of April. And it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be encouraging people. We're going to kind of do like the slim down, like the summer slim down. And I think we did it over the winter at one point too, like a belly buster challenge type thing. We're going to be encouraging people to purchase slim, lean, and active. And we're going to really kind of base the forfeit group around those 3 products for the end of the month. So be watching for information about that, because it's going to be super fun. And so for me, that is all the information that I have. I'm going to turn it over to Lisa so she can turn it over to Kim. So here you go.
All right. Thanks for all of that. So I am excited. Thank you so much, Kim, for agreeing to be on our call. I don't know who all our greens are. We took a survey. Maybe they didn't want to admit they were a green. I don't know. But you instantly came to my mind as a green. So I don't want to, we didn't even discuss, because I'm a blue, so I don't discuss, just jump in. And actually, Kim beat us all to the call because she is a green. So she was here prompt, early, on time, waiting for her host, Wendy and Lisa, who are full of blue, to jump on. So Kim has shared with me that she's kind of down the middle, blue or yellow and green. That was good enough for me. I am not green at all. So are you okay if I read a description of green, or were you going to include that, Kim?
You can go ahead and read. I was going to just tell a little bit about what greens are as a person, but yeah, go ahead and read a description.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, because you're down the middle, I did both. I printed the green and the yellow just because I do see a lot of yellow in you as well. Krista is going to be our yellow sharer later on this month. But some of it sounds, sometimes it can sound negative. You know, like when you talk about Mia Blue, like just being like, you
Yep.
know, not prepared, that kind of thing. It can sound negative, but you know, I don't think it's negative. So anyway, I want to preface that. So here's what they said about green. If you're taking the Mark Areta, I think that's how you say it. That's the test that all of us have taken. So green. People in this category are rational and calculated thinkers. They try to research exhaustively before deciding on something and refrain from making rash decisions. And I know this about you because I've heard your testimony. They are natural cynics and are usually skeptical of other people's motives, probably because they do not trust their intuition. I thought that was negative. I didn't like that part, as much as established facts. As a result, they are very realistic and they possess a, I should have looked up how to say this word, proclivity. Okay, proclivity.
Proclivity.
All right. Toward prejudging people. Somebody, I don't know what that word meant. They are also
It's a
systematic.
tendency.
It's what?
Sorry, it's a tendency towards.
Thank you.
Yeah, proclivity.
Who said that? I
Sorry.
love that.
That was me. Sorry.
No, thank you. Okay. They are also systematic and honest to goodness. I've never seen this word before either. And I like words. Pedantic. Pedantic.
Pedantic.
Okay, whatever with the big words. Okay, sometimes necessitating guidelines by which they can abide to. They are also notoriously emotionally detached. See, I didn't like that. I think that's because you have a lot of yellow. Because that was sounded negative, didn't it? I don't think you're detached. So anyway, you know, there's a little give and take with all of these. But do you think that I hit some of that on the head? The floor is yours. Share your story. Tell us how you started Plexus, all the things.
All right. Well, thank you so much for asking me to be on. I'll tell you, my first, you all that know Lisa and Wendy or that will watch this call later, you are so blessed to have these two women that do this for you, because my first experience with Lisa was at Leaders Retreat in San Diego a couple of years ago. And I knew instantly that I needed to know this woman. I was attracted to her energy and her fire. And I just love everything about her. And Wendy is definitely my go-to person when I have a client that's asking me about the keto lifestyle and how to fit intermittent fasting with keto and with supplements and all of that. She's a genius. So you're just so blessed to have these two women in your corner. So anyway, but yes, I am 2 points away, yellow, green. So I'm really almost 50-50, but tonight I'm going to talk about the green side. So I'm going to let somebody else, I'll let Krista share about yellow in a couple of weeks, but you don't see very many 100% green people in network marketing. And that's because they are not by nature people. They like to be by themselves. They would rather be on their computer researching or reading some boring medical journal or something like that. They're not wanting to talk to people and meet new people and go to social things. Because I'm almost 50-50, I have a lot of yellow that lets me do that. But most of the people, if you find another green in a network marketing situation, it's usually because they're very much something else too. One of the other colors is really dominant in their life. So greens are your info people. They want facts, they want research, they want all of the things you can give them. So if you have, for example, if you have a potential client that you're talking to that you suspect might be a green person, you know, those info sheets on the products that you never have read because you're not a green, they're going to love that. So you want to send that to them. I know you think, I've never even opened that file that's got all those info sheets in there. Your green potential clients are going to love those. So that's something to send to them. If you have a green teammate that you bring onto your team, show them where to find that information because they love it. They can't get enough of that information that's in our online office. And you probably don't even know where to find it because you've never looked. If you're not a green, you've never looked for it. But your green people are going to love that. Greens are impressed by studies and by facts and by credentials. So like for myself, my heart rate goes a little faster when I get to talk about Dr. Jim Logan, because I'm like, he was working for NASA. He's the guy in charge of keeping our astronauts healthy, y'all. He's amazing. That's the green in me saying, I'm impressed by that. I like that. He knows his stuff. I'm going to listen to him. So if you have someone on your team or a potential that you think is a green, send them Dr. Logan talking about the triplex because they're going to love that video while you're thinking, oh my gosh, this could not be any more dry. I hate it. They're going to love it. So it's learning how to speak to your people in the language that they understand. And there are green people out there that need our products and services. So greens are impressed by that kind of thing. If you go to convention with your greens on your teammates and you can't find them, I can tell you where to find them. They're going to be in the back of the store talking to the scientists. That's where you'll find your greens. They're going to stand there all day because not only asking their questions, they're going to be listening to all of the other questions that all the other greens are asking because they're going to be so hungry for that knowledge. That's where they want to hang out at convention, not in the big auditorium with 13,000 people. They want to be with the scientists one-on-one talking and conversing about the awesome things we have. So that's kind of the nature of a green. Greens are skeptical. You mentioned that, Lisa. We are by nature skeptical. We don't believe things until there's some proof. My story with that is it took me about 9 months to even try stuff. Stephanie is the person who introduced me to Plexus, and I'm so thankful that she did it. She wore me down. But it took about 9 months, and I was asking her questions. Meanwhile, I'm researching. And when I say researching, greens don't go to Google and say, what is Plexus worldwide? They don't look up a company. Greens go to the website, they look at the label of Plexus Slim, and they Google the ingredients. What does beetroot extract do? What is alpha lipoic acid? Y'all, I had 13 pages of research on Slim alone before I ever tried it. 13 pages. I finally realized that was ridiculous. It would take me the rest of my life to learn about these products. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll try it. Meanwhile, someone like Stephanie says, I drink this stuff, it tastes good, and I sleep well. Well, I'm saying, well, why'd you sleep well? What's in it that makes you sleep well? I don't know. It tastes good and I sleep well, so I love it. Try it. That's such a difference between the colors. So that's how it works. But they will use Google. They will use it in the right way, looking up details and information. The good thing about greens is they like to have an answer for you. Okay, so if you reach out to a green teammate, someone who's kind of new and you want to get them engaged and you want to give them a task, reach out to a new green ambassador and ask them about an ingredient. If they have no idea what it is, they're going to drop everything and look up 4 or 5 articles and get right back to you with an answer. So they may have just learned it 30 seconds ago, but they're going to come right back with, this is what I've learned about that ingredient, because they want to have an answer. So it's a good way to get your green people involved by asking them questions because they want to do that. And a really good thing about a green is they like to do the stuff that nobody else likes to do. They like to do the research where most people find that kind of tedious, time consuming. Your greens thrive on that. So give them an assignment to look up a product and learn about it and teach about it, because that's a great task for a green. They love that. I guess a good way to affirm your green people is to acknowledge their greenness. Let them know that you appreciate their effort in looking stuff up, that they're willing to do all that research, because nobody else on the team wants to do it, I'm telling you, but the greens love it. So acknowledging that way just letting them know that you appreciate that part about them. The downside to having a green on your team is that they can get, I'm talking about them like it's not me, greens, we can get sort of caught up in the research and the learning and not take action. Okay, so you might have to, if you have greens on your team, you might have to gently nudge them to actually take all of that knowledge that's swirling around in their head, because greens are usually pretty bright people. They're smart and they find information. So you might need to push them to take that knowledge and do something with it. It's really easy for them to get stuck in learning and just researching. So I guess to kind of wrap it all up, if you're looking at a potential client that's a green, you want to know that they're going to spend hours, days, or weeks researching and making a decision. They will not decide quickly, like Lisa said. So give them some grace, give them some space, and be patient. They're not giving you crickets because they're not interested. They're learning and they just can't make a decision quickly. Give them those info sheets. If you've got a potential, give them an info sheet. They're going to love it. And also give them outside information. They're skeptical. So if you give them information from Plexus, they're going to be like, well, of course, Plexus says it's great. That's the company it comes from. Duh. If you give them an article by someone else that supports what Plexus says about gut health or about a particular ingredient, they're going to be like, ooh, that company says this, but also this doctor says this, or this scientist says this, that's not from that company. That's going to speak volumes to your potential clients. And then as far as your teammates, go to them with questions. Ask them to look things up for you. Show them where to find information in their virtual office. Affirm their greenness. Thank them for doing the things that nobody else likes to do. And then gently encourage them to take action so they don't get stuck.
Oh my gosh, so much. I was taking notes. I thank you so much. You were absolutely the right person for this call, and I'm so glad you agreed to be on here with us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
I love greens for everything that you said, because it's boring to me, and I am so thankful. We do have a green, but she's kind of split all over. Emily Ann, I believe, is also a green, because it's almost, she won't teach on something unless she's had weeks to prepare when we've asked her, and that's her green, because it's, she's got to do all the research, have it all ready. It has to all be right. So I do have a question for you. Do you ever get stuck in paralysis or analysis paralysis? Does that happen to you, or did it happen in the beginning and inhibit you from sharing? Like, I'm just curious how that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was not ever going to share, ever, never, ever, because it just was, a green doesn't want to do that. A green doesn't want to talk to people. A green is going to be kind of private, not tell anybody what they're doing. But because I'm equally yellow, that's a helper. No, I won't. Oh, can you guys hear me? I kind of have an unstable connection. Okay. But if you get somebody that's more green than everything else, or even 50-50, you're going to have to kind of walk them through sharing and walk them through using the knowledge that they have, instead of just accumulating more and more and more knowledge. It's really easy for a green to do that and not ever take it one action step.
Yeah. Well, thank you, because I've run into that, and it can be, but I mean, I love their information. I think that Beck, I would say that our friend Beck is probably right down the middle of everything, because she has such a green side, talks to the scientists. She's a blue, she's fun, she's red and driven, she's yellow, she's people. Like, I would like to hear what hers is, because I thought of that when you said scientist, because she spends a lot of time over talking to the scientists too. That made a lot of sense. So what color personality, tell me, as a green, yellow, even, what is hard for you to come across? Like other personalities? Because I mean, I'm red, blue. I can be very just to the point. Like, You know, I think that I can offend people sometimes, or I'm too blue, too like, oh, like Stephanie said, I like it, I tried it. Like it made me do this. What kind of things stump you or that you struggle with as a green when interacting with other people, personalities?
I think greens can be, they can get overwhelmed easily.
Okay.
So someone who is, now I'm like, again, right down the middle, but someone who is more green is going to have a kind of a hard time being around someone who is super, super blue because all of that energy and excitement is going to be like, oh, you're just too much for me. Yeah. So that I would say probably now, you know, like I said, I'm not 100% green, but what I know of greens and my side and blues, that would probably be one that's the hardest relationship to foster.
So take it down a notch when I'm dealing with a green, try to get more serious and provide information. And don't overwhelm them with just come on, just do it. Just try it. You're going to love it.
I think
You don't do that, Lisa.
I'm getting you're frozen, so I missed some of that.
Okay. I just said, so as a blue, maybe if I'm dealing with a green personality, take it down a few notches, be a little more serious and provide information.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Does anybody else have questions for Kim?
Can I mention something?
For sure.
Yes.
So Kim and I work really well together, but I do know because I'm almost evenly yellow and blue.
Me too.
That so I'm a person who can overwhelm Kim. And she's like, "Ooh, Stephanie, that's just too much for me." Whoa. So I have to realize that I need to change myself a little bit when I'm talking to her. So, you know, at times, not change, but, you know, keep her in mind. I don't want to overwhelm her.
Thank you for sharing that, because that is honestly, that's kind of the whole point of these calls this month, is because not everybody's the same. And I just think it's such a useful tool to understand, you know, because it's about winning friends, influencing people, and using your influence and the God-given way he created us to be. But it's important that we listen and hear other people and relate to them. So I just so enjoyed this because you're so my opposite and I love you so much.
Yay, Kim.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So how much time do we have left, Wendy?
We have about 9 minutes, and I just wanted to share. So after the call's over, I watched a TED Talk before the call about color personalities, and what was really fascinating to me on the TED Talk is that gentleman that's doing the talk was talking about how really vital it is to take this test and really take it for yourself, because when somebody says, who are you? Like, describe yourself. You're going to say, like, for myself, I'd say I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a Christian, I'm a behavioral therapist, you know, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, all those things. But I wouldn't talk about the fact that I'm a blue yellow, right? I wouldn't talk about the fact that I'm very compassionate and intuitive to the people that I meet in my life, or that I love to have fun, which is one of the things that attracted me to Lisa the day I met her, is we both have that spark in us. And you wouldn't talk about those things, right? Because you have these labels that you give yourself, but that's not really who you are. That's what you are. That's what you do. That's where your position is in life. And so he really recommended taking this test and being very familiar with your personality type, but then really and truly studying and learning about all the other personality types, which I'm so glad we decided to do this, because as a leader, exactly that, you can't lead if you have a green personality and Lisa's, you know, sending her messages saying, you need to send out this and this and this, and you need to do this and do this and do this. And she's going, wait, I want to read all about this first. You know, she would be damaging that relationship. And I think it's really a necessary thing. I'm very thankful for this topic, because I think we're all going to learn a lot about embracing the color personalities of the people that we encounter and the people that are on our teams. So I'm going to make sure I drop that TED Talk in our chat, because I think it is really an awesome 10-minute blurb on what we're going to share on the rest of this month.
I really like what you said about that, because, and Krista, thank you so much for the idea to do that this month.
Yes, this was Krista's idea.
Yeah. I just think that in what we do, and it's such a people job. Like, it's all about relationships, and how many of us have had our feelings hurt, have felt misunderstood, have, you know, had assumptions, just all of it. We all, no matter what personality we are, we have that. And so it all starts with us understanding ourselves and understanding other people and giving grace and all of that, but also educating. I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody of a certain color to be able to apologize in some way and say, you know what I've learned about myself, I can be super driven. Sometimes I forget, and I never mean to offend. And, you know, like, that's okay. That's a part of relationship building with people as well. So I'm just really glad always, because most of us, well, no, all of us on this call, and I just feel like our team, it's about serving God. It really is, in everything that we do. And if we look at Jesus as an example, like, Jesus understood people. Yeah. He took time with people, you know, and sometimes, I mean, I know as a red, I struggle sometimes, because I kind of burrow through a lot of things with people, and I never want to do that. And I think serving him for the kingdom is probably the most important thing we can do. So whether this applies to our business or not, we know it applies to life.
So
anyway.
I think that next week we have Jamie, right, who's going to share about being red.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to that, because any of you who work closely with Jamie, you know that she is all red. And I always enjoy her input, because being a blue yellow, sometimes I can be wishy-washy and I need a kick in the butt sometimes. And I get that from Jamie when I need it. So
yeah.
Is there anything else anybody wanted to add to the conversation before we wrap it up for the night?
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of it, or any of it.
Just was really excited to learn more about green, because I didn't think I really knew anybody. You know, I don't think I have any greens on my team. If I do, I don't know about them yet, but that was so helpful. I have come across those people in life who are so like information, like, oh, I have to research. I'm like, really, just Google it. I mean, just Google it and come on, go. That's what it says. Take it and go on. So it was very helpful for me, just in my other job, to help me to, you know, deal with people a little bit better probably than what it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Amanda.
And another thing to remember too is we attract who we are. You know, a lot of times you'll get a lot of people like you on your team, and that can be really good. And sometimes that can be not so good. So knowing the other colors also helps us to frame the way we speak to people a little differently if you know their color.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So true.
Anyone else?
Tom, I know you're dying to talk to us.
I think it goes to what you're all saying. Is one, I have a tendency to offend people very easily without realizing it. And part of my attitude is, if I get offended by what you say, it's not your problem, it's mine, because I'm the one that's offended. So I got to then step back and realize, why did I get offended? Is it because of the way they said it, how they said it, what they said, and did they intend it, or did they not even mean it? Well, I think in this business, we have a tendency that we offend people because we don't stop and think about it, and they haven't given us the permission on that side of it. If I'm offended, it's my fault. So we need to be real careful, because again, it's a people business, and you offend one person and it rolls very quickly through social media, how offensive and abrasive and how factual and how analytical, or because any one of us can be offended by the other color personality, right? Because they're wrong and I'm right, and I'm right and they're wrong, or all the way around. So I think those of you that are a couple colors probably are the ones that can do this business with the least amount of conscious effort, versus those of us that are more of a color. Because as a color, I really do see things with my rose-colored glasses on all the time. So just being conscious of where you are and how you're going to piss off the other person, not to be blunt, but to be blunt with it. So if I just offended you, I'm sorry. But that idea that we're going to do it without realizing it. And we need to be conscious of watching facial expressions, body language. Even in social media interactions, you can see people pull back if you pay attention. You just got to be aware.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing
A
that.
a great book to read if you haven't read it. It's about the 4 color personalities, and it's for network marketing by Big Al Strider. I don't know if any of you've read that one, but I think, let me look and see what the name of it. The 4 color personalities for MLM. Yeah, the secret language. And in it, he talks about how, like, he'll give an example of a sentence or two, and then how all 4 colors will hear that sentence. And it means something totally different to a red than it does to a blue or a green or a yellow. They hear it differently. So it helps coach us on how to talk to potential clients in a way that, okay, why wouldn't I join you? Because you said exactly what I needed to hear. Why wouldn't I try your product or join the business? It's a great, great book. Short, easy to read.
We have 1 minute. We have a short Zoom. We're going to get kicked off. Can you type that in the chat?
I have it here.
You have it? Okay.
Yep. I'm going to drop it in our group chats as well. So I have it right here.
Thank you for sharing that. So active listening, I think, is the key. Active listening whenever we're talking to anybody. Does it, like, here's what I heard you say. Is that what you meant to say? Yeah, that's a tool that I've used in marriage.
Hey, can I tell you guys before we sign off that Big Al was Phoenix Convention in 2015. We got to watch him speak on that.
Oh,
Very first convention.
That was the year before we got on, Wendy. Guys, I know we're going to get cut off. It just cuts off. So should we say our love and goodbyes now?
Thank you guys so much. So blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you for having on. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.